Thanks for being here. The purpose of this small group conversation really came about thanks to Evan quickly at Alcoa when he asked if you all could share among yourselves particular challenges and insights you'd found as you operate on the manufacturing floor. Most of the rest of our members were in different circumstances than you as central businesses, so we hope this is useful to you. I intend to talk very little, but I put up on the screen just for your convenience some of the things we've heard from manufacturing. We've been talking with TSMA and others, and some of these topics have come up. The biggest of which seems to be wrapped around employee safety, both when they're at work and when they go back out from work into an environment that's going to start reopening and providing a lot more opportunities for people to spread the virus. So those have been the things we've been picking up as we've listened to some of you and to many other manufacturers in the community. But our intention for this call is to edit my agenda if you don't think it's pertinent to what you'd like to make sure you communicate on, but to be able for you all to talk among yourselves and to share some thoughts. So it might be ideal if we just flip through and identified who's on the call and your company. So may I kick that off? I know that Lee Curry was the first on the call, so I'm going to turn it Lee's way.
Hi, this is Leah Curry. I follow CDC guidelines, and yeah, I'm here from Toyota. Me and Tim, we're going to tag team. I don't know if he's on yet or not, or maybe not be able to join. So, yeah, just we have a lot of things that we can share. I just sent the playbook to Tara for external use, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Sure, thanks, Lee. Dave Berman, I know you're on from Centerpoint. Okay, I'm going to go to Holly.
I'm on. Sorry, I took a while to get the music turned off.
Hey, we're trying to teach you to be, learn this system.
Right. No, I don't really have anything to add. We're at the power plants, we're operating on minimal staff, but we are still operating. So we do have a lot of those guidelines in play. And we are preparing, to come back. We're talking about that today. Actually, we got some company memos going out, phasing. We're going to, do the phased approach, and every department's going to be a little bit different as we come back. So we have a lot of unique, different, processes in the energy side here. So we're working through that this week, and probably be making some changes starting next week, it looks like. So that's and following your agenda there and your guidelines, it's verbatim what we're looking at. So thank you.
Okay. Holly, I know you're on from AstraZeneca. Anything that we should discuss today that's not up here?
I think one thing that would be of interest to me is out of about 700 employees, we have 150 working from home. And we are putting plans together on how to return people to the office, along with any visitors or other contractors or things that we have kind of put on hold. So I would be looking, because again, we're still trying to figure it out ourselves. I would be looking for those people who maybe have already started bringing people back to the office that have been gone, just for ideas on how you did that.
Great. I'm sure that's an appropriate discussion topic. Mr. Alexander, I think.
Yeah, so this is Jim Alexander from Berry Global. Mm-hmm. We are in that area of looking at bringing people who've been working at home back as well. Since the last time we talked, we've put in some additional precautions. We now have all our employees across the globe, either required, depending on the country and the state, the province, or on a highly recommended voluntary basis in masks. We also have started temperature taking. So we are doing temperature taking upon entering the building for all employees. We have some essential contractors, and they are following those guidelines as well. And so again, we're looking at across the globe, starting up more and more of our sites to full capacity, although most of our sites stayed even at full capacity or even higher demand as depending on the product. So that's what I'm interested in hearing. Thank you.
Well, thanks for kicking this off. I hope you're all prepared to coach each other on these topics. Kevin, I see there's a couple folks from Cook Enterprises on. Would you take a moment?
Yeah, thanks, Tara. So we have 6 businesses and 2 are on shutdown right now, Gibbs Die Casting and Audubon Metals, and like many others, planning to begin ramping up next week. We still have the majority of our salaried workers working from home, so obviously ideas for reintegrating them back into the workspace is going to be helpful. Each of our individual companies are really kind of working on their own plan. So, and we have HR calls once or twice a week to work on those plans.
Thanks. I know Guy, I think you're on from BWX. Are you not?
Yes, I'm here. Kind of similar to what a lot of folks are doing. We're doing the temperature checks, everybody coming in. We did make mask mandatory from the time they get out of their car in their parking lot until they return to their car. We do have some protocols around that when they're allowed to remove those, but in general, everybody here has to wear them. Probably the biggest hurdle we had to try to come across, I'm sure everybody else has found difficulty finding certain things like hand sanitizer and stuff like that. And we actually made our own hand sanitizer, so we're able to find the ingredients and actually did it. So, but other than that, I'd be happy to share pretty much everything else we've done. The one thing we haven't done is to have many people work remotely because some of our systems are classified, so they can't access those. So with the folks working here, we've actually done some things where we've done alternate shifts and increased spacing between folks when they're working at their desk, things like that. So
well, thanks for your time. There's a couple folks on by phone. I can't tell who it is. So if you're with a company that we haven't gotten to, would you sing out? Then I'm going to take the opportunity to share that, 15 minutes before this call, Lee shared Toyota's community playbook, which I think is excellent. And with her blessing, we're going to send it out to everyone on this call. But it does offer, I think, pretty clear guidance on some of the things that I've heard a lot of concern about. And that is, during the last 6 weeks, you've had your employees in a work mode and they've gone home essentially to their family and no one else. And as the economy opens up, I think making sure that your employees get really good coaching on how to keep themselves virus-free so they can come back to the workplace is something that I haven't seen much guidance on. And there is some in the Toyota book. Has anyone else sorted out really good content to share with your employees so that they stay safe on the work floor? Okay, then we'll count on Toyotas to get us by there. But I thought it was quite good. May I ask about childcare? I'm jumping around the agenda, but again, childcare is something that while most of your employees have had a partner or spouse or someone else at home, as we reopen the workforce, I'm concerned about sufficient childcare for your employees. Does anyone run into that or have some guidance on that to share?
Tara, this is Leah. Now our childcare will be opening back up. Bright Horizons runs that on Monday, May 4th. And I know there's some that's been opened back up, but obviously that is an issue if they don't reopen. And again, we spoke to the governor early last week. He didn't, he held his cards of course he was wonderful as usual, but he held his cards pretty tight about if he was going to do an extension or not extension. So I think that really has a lot to do with it, depending on if he comes out this week and says anything, where it allows some reopening of, and it will make people be more comfortable. I don't know if anyone's heard when he might be doing another press conference this week or.
I think there's one scheduled for tomorrow. We're going to be convening our business assistance conversations right after that guidance tomorrow. Just assuming.
that'll be key. I think what he says in there will be key for a lot of the essential businesses to be able to come back up, ramp back up. We'll need those support systems.
Yeah, yeah. Are there others beyond childcare that are likely to be unique for those of you on the call? Well, then I'll tell you that we plan to set up a town hall meeting with our childcare influencers in this region as soon as we get a guidance of whether we're looking at a 1 week or 3 week kind of situation. Cut someone off. Sorry.
One of the things that we are watching closely is what Michigan governor decides as well. We have 500 parts we get from Michigan. She's been very vague at if automotive is essential or not essential. And obviously the previous big three work there and the unions do not want to reopen. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there, because we have a lot of suppliers that are there, and if they can't reopen, then that could impact many, many plants, not Toyota, just Toyota, all automotive plants. So that's going to be another one. And logistics partners is another one we found during these times that a lot of us have not been running. Some of the logistics partners have picked up other runs for other material, to keep themselves up and going, and all the need for the different types of material that people are buying for home. So logistics partners is another one that we're confirming as well, to make sure that, we have this, the supply of logistics partners that we're going to need for our demand. So that's another one that we're watching closely.
Thanks, Lee.
This is Kevin Cook. The indications we got that are, or at least the releases that we're seeing for the businesses in automotive that are shut down, is that this does not, we're not going to flip a switch and come back on. Releases are down 70% from our plan. So it's not, there's going to be, maybe we'll ask for volunteers to come in or something of that nature, where we won't need everyone to come back May 4th. But again, a lot of it, as Leah said, depends on what the big three are going to do. And Michigan is in a pretty bad spot, relative to Indiana.
Are there other issues on my agenda here that any of you have found some success in that you'd share with your colleagues?
For break rooms, one of the things we're doing is for breaks and lunches, we're staggering our releases so that we don't have the glut of everybody at one time, so we can maintain social distancing. And we're doing some staggered start as well in the areas like assembly where we have a majority of our people. We're doing some staggered starts. So those are some key things we're doing to try to maintain social distancing when we restart. And then really, it's going to take us 4 weeks to ramp up with the current volume that we see. So we're very, very slow ramp up. Mostly going to be on training to start up with new protocols, new procedures, and give everybody an opportunity to acclimate and feel comfortable. So it'll take us the whole month of May, as Kevin was talking about, to ramp back up to even getting close to full volume.
Do those of you, I think it's primarily Toyota and the Cook companies that Kevin mentioned, that have a significant amount of their workforce that's in a furloughed status, are you concerned about your employees being there when you need to call them back, or have you been in pretty close touch with them all through this?
We've called them 3 times a week. And then we have a survey we sent out. We have a Fuse app that all our team members are on to receive videos that I've done and receive education. So this return to work, ask them some questions about their ability to return and several other questions. And they have to have that filled out, or their badge would be deactivated, and then they'd have to fill it out when they got here. So and then we're rolling out to all the suppliers as well. So we will understand if they haven't filled that out. We're reaching out to those members to understand there's an issue or not with them returning to work. So that's how we're taking sort of attendance early on to understand who's going to have an issue and who isn't.
I saw Constance joined us from RB. Constance, do you have any perspective on this?
I'm sorry, I just joined late.
Right. No, we were talking about, sorry. Any other thoughts on your personnel being available?
We don't have any concerns about getting the people that we need to come back for the volume that we're expecting. We've been keeping in touch and setting up video calls as well, or video communication as well.
And have each of you got access to the temperature equipment, to any particular supplies? Sorry. Hand sanitizer has been a big deal, and I understand gowns are a complicator. I don't know if those are issues in your particular businesses, but if there are things that you can't get, we'd sure like to hear about it.
I think the only thing we can't get is the wipes, the disinfecting wipes. We've obviously, like other people were talking, have worked through North America to places that are now making the sanitizer, and getting all the pumps in is one of the things we're still working on, having them in like 300 different locations. So they're readily available wherever you're at. So that's probably been our biggest issue, is just getting those in, but we've been following that very closely. The other thing we've had to get into is the defogger for your safety glasses. Once you're wearing the mask, which our people wear 100%, it does fog up your safety glasses. So we tested like 8 different types of defoggers. We found one that actually works better than others for about 4 hours. So that's one that we're still trying to get in as well.
Could you share that product with us so we can?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know that's been an issue with several of the conversations we've had, and we plan to share any of this that's relevant with the other manufacturers through TSMA, if that's okay with everyone. And I know, Lee, you've also got a hand-operated or a foot-operated hand sanitizer machine.
Yeah, we put together one. We can send them a drawing out for that as well. It's our Kaizen team making that internally. We are doing the temperature taking infrared. We still have some that need to get delivered, but I also hope by the end of this week, we'll be using in our main areas that we have the most team members coming in, thermal imaging, like you see in an airport, where we can do, it'll do 30 team members a second. And then if one comes up that's not, the temperature is high or low, it shows their face, it kicks them out, and then we only have to staff it with one person, and then they take it manually as a backup. So otherwise we're staffing huge amount of people at all of our entrances, because we have about 11,000 people coming in and out every day between 2 shifts. My hope is that we have those in place by the end of the week, so we could reduce the demand on the number of people having to take temperatures manually.
And RB shared actual product content with us last time. Has everyone got what they need in that line as far as specific model information? Anyone need it? All right. May I ask who I haven't called on that might have something that they'd like to make sure that they ask questions to their colleagues here? We're going to follow up and send out, some nuts and bolts from this conversation, but this is your time to tease it out.
I think the last time that we talked, there was some interest in the name of the virtual reality goggles that we use.
There were.
It's called Atheer, and it is ATHEER.com. It's atheerair.com, and we've had really good success working with that company and our remote technicians that normally travel are reporting really good success in using this technology to issues.
Yeah, that was very helpful. I think I put it accurately in the chat. You can correct me if I didn't. But we'll share that information. I know we've got a local source of high volume hand sanitizer if it's needed by any of you. Otherwise, we're probably going to offer it out to our manufacturing members in general. We'll continue to try to stay on top of those equipment and safety materials that are not readily available for our more broader membership. But we want to keep you all operating if you have any needs in that area. All right, well, I'm going to send the Toyota community manual out. Do any of you others that are on the call, I'm leaning toward RB or Barry or any of the folks, have a general protocol manual that is might be appropriate for sharing among the group here? I know some are industry specific. I know some are classified. So just looking for where it's appropriate. All right. Well, we're really grateful to have Toyotas. I went through it quickly, and it's got, I think, excellent content for many of the things that are on my agenda here. We will be following up with a session on childcare circumstances as soon as we get some guidance from the governor this week, because that does seem to be something that we may have to stand up some broader support for than is normally available in our market, because a lot of our childcare folks have, been deputized into school-age children as the schools are closed now. So it's a bigger demand than it probably was when we went into this 6 weeks ago. What else can we do for you to be helpful as our largest employers? Anything?
Tara, do you know when additional testing would be available? One of the things we'd like to take a look at in the future, obviously, like everybody, is having testing on site.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't have good information on that. I have evolving information. We've got a local effort here that I think you may be aware of to really ramp up testing capacity. We should have a report on how that's going either today or tomorrow. So we'll be in touch with you larger employers as soon as we get any kind of decent information on that. But the answer right now is not really. I don't know any more than you know, but I know that one of the task force groups we set up is actively working in that space. And I think they've lined up enough business partners to run the beta testing and see if they can get that going. So hopefully within the week, we'll have more useful response to that question, Lee.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely, we were happy to be a part of that. I know, in order to really operate full capacity, we really need to diagnose people quickly.
Yeah.
The weight, I don't know if we know what the average weight is right now. Is it still several days, or is it still they're pretty well not testing you unless you're?
Well, we're still pretty modest in our testing in this state compared to others. But the results are coming back within 2 days now. But that's not the same as coming back with one hour while you've got an employee on site, I realize.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really what I need from a support standpoint.
Yeah, okay.
This is Dave Rehrman with Vectron again. We had a conversation with some doctors at Deaconess Hospital last week around, we've got some critical infrastructure folks that we only have so many folks that can operate the power plants, that can operate the TSO, the systems. And we were able to give them like a priority list of folks that would kind of skip to the front of the line, so to speak, if need be, to get tested if need be. Now, granted, I agree with what Leah just said, that, the goal is to get everybody tested, but we were looking at trying to, maybe sequestering folks on site. We've got plans to do that if need be. But the doctors were they're almost against that, saying, you really need to make sure everybody is healthy before you sequester them on site. and it takes time to get that result back. So there was a lot of bugs in that equation. So we're still trying to figure out what the proper protocol would be around that. But we were able to supply them with a number of folks that if we need to get them tested, they can kind of get to the front of the line if need be. So that's
good counsel, Dave, because I do think for the people on this call, that is something that's quietly happening. So if you haven't taken that opportunity, you might do so, because I've heard from a couple other manufacturers that our local healthcare system's been quietly helpful in that space.
Yes, very helpful.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Other topics? If not, I'm going to offer these two thoughts. This is a group that I think has somewhat different needs than our broader community, so we are very happy to continue to circulate among you. But then you don't need me to circulate. Feel free to circulate among yourselves. But whatever we can do to facilitate sharing among this group, we're happy to keep that moving. And if you come up with one-on-one topics and don't have time to gather on a call like this, we'll just be happy to circulate those among you as well. And we're going to start off with Lee's permission by circulating that Toyota document to you right after this call. If there's anything else that you need to make sure we move around, just let me know if you would, please. Other thoughts before we give you back your noon time? All right, well, thank you. Please know that we're continuing to do all we can to be supportive of you. If we miss something, call it out to us, because we'll do everything we can. I'm working closely with our friends in Henderson. So throughout our region, we're trying to make sure that we stay in really close touch on how we begin to reopen efficiently. So we appreciate your time, and we're here to help you as quickly as we can. Thanks for being with us.